under the NGPA and its IRR. Okay, and for us to achieve that objective, next slide, ito po yung ating outline. So, andyan po yung iba't ibang modes of procurement. Next slide. Yan. Okay. Next slide. So, proceed tayo sa modes of procurement. No? Kanina nakita natin yung quadrant, which mode is are new modes, ano yung na-enhance, no? At ano yung natanggal, na-evict, kumbaga. Okay? So, all in all, meron na pong 11 modes of procurement under the NGPA. Okay? Next slide. So, when it comes to the delegation of authority, as we discussed kanina, ang nagfa-facilitate ng procurement activity is the Bids and Awards Committee. But they can delegate. They can delegate. Kasi baka mamaya makita nyo iba yung nagpo-procure, no? Just in case sumali kayo sa bidding. They can delegate those modes that are not competitive in nature. Meaning, yung 4 na binanggit ko kanina, hindi siya pwedeng i-delegate na back. The rest, pwede na. Okay? So, next slide. So, ito po yung mga applicability matrix, no? You can take a photo of it. Kung saan po, saang mode of procurement applicable si goods, si infrastructure, at saka si consulting services. Okay? For competitive bidding, check lahat. For limited source, applicable sa lahat. Competitive dialogue, no? Applicable din siya sa lahat. For unsolicited offer with bid matching, applicable only to goods and consulting services, but not to infra. Because you know why? See, infrastructure projects, when it comes to unsolicited offer with bid matching, PPP po yan. Kanina pag-uusapan namin ni ma'am. Okay? So, hindi siya applicable to infrastructure projects because unsolicited offer for infrastructure projects is governed by other law. Before, yun po yung tinatawag na Build, Operate, Transfer Law, the BOT law. Ngayon po, just recently, no, na-repeal din po yung BOT law, naging PPP code na siya. Okay? So, kapag unsolved project for infra, hindi po RA 12009. Okay? RA 12996 po ata yun. Okay? Direct contracting, yan, direct acquisition, for goods lang. For repeat order, for goods lang din. For small value procurement, yung kung consulting services po, pwede rin siyang small value procurement. Hindi po necessarily competitive bidding. Basta within the threshold. Okay? Direct sales, for goods lang. And direct procurement for science and technology. Next slide. So, ito po, from to-fill bidding, no, down, up to the next slide, ito po yung mga negotiated procurement under the NGPA. So, it's 13 po ito, 13. So, 11 modes ng NGPA including the negotiated procurement. Tapos, si negotiated procurement, nanganak po siya ng 13. Okay? Under the old law, 14 po yan. 14 negotiated mode of procurement. Ang kasama po sa 14 ay si small value procurement na ngayon ay promoted na as one of the modes of procurement. Okay? Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Simulan natin yung unang competitive in nature na mode of procurement na competitive dialogue. Okay? For the private, no, when I was also invited sa Ayala before, ang sabi ko sa kanila, this is your time to shine sa competitive dialogue. Ito po ay two-stage bidding process for projects that include innovative designs, require prior negotiations, or where technical specifications, terms of reference, or scope of work cannot be precisely defined. Dito po namin kailangan kayo as our partners because as I said, no, not everyone in the government agency are really technically capable to prepare yung pong mga terms of reference and scope of works. Lalo na po kapag yung mga actually goods, infra, and consulting, no, across the three category, talagang hindi po, wala pong kumbaga kulang kami sa technical knowledge to really prepare, and we really need your assistance on this. Under the old law, the GIPRA or RA 9184, meron na po ito pero hindi siya nabigyan ng pangalan. Ang tawag sa kanya din, two-stage bidding process, but I think wala pong gumamit. Wala kaming record na may gumamit. It's because hindi siya nabigyan ng further guidelines. So ngayon, under the NGPA, meron na po siyang pangalan. Pinangalanan na siyang competitive dialogue. So paano po siya gagamitin? Paano po yung process niya? So next slide. So sa competitive dialogue, dahil nga syempre hindi po alam ng government agency o ni end user. Gamitin natin si end user kasi si end user po ang gumagawa ng tech specs, scope of work, and terms of reference. So ang gagawin po is that kapag hindi po kayang gumawa ni end user or makumpleto ni end user yung technical specification, then pwede siyang mag-invite through competitive dialogue. Mag-i-invite siya ngayon ng supplier, manufacturer, contractors, including consultants, para matulungan siya to nabuuin yung TOR. Ang requirement lang, dapat general parameters ng project, meron siya at least, para naman alam niya kung sino-sino or ano ba yung hahanapin niyang service provider or supplier. So, general parameters sufficient para makapag-invite siya ng mga possible bidders. And then, itong mga in-invite niya na ito, i-require niya to submit eligibility documents and initial technical proposals based on the general parameters na binigay niya. Okay? So, ganun siya. And then, kapag nakapag-submit na ng eligibility documents and initial technical proposals, then, magkakandak ng dialogue with eligible bidders. Under the rule, pwede pong jointly, pwede pong separate ang dialogue. But what is required under the law is that kung ano yung kinommunicate dun sa isang bidder, dapat communicated siya to all bidders. Okay? Kaya kung meron po nito, I suggest, kung kayo po, para at least makasigurado kayo, you request the procuring entity na baka pwede pong joint dialogue na lang. Okay? So, basta under the rule, it's either joint or separate. And then after mag-dialogue, mabubuo within, I think nakalagay sa rule is within 10 calendar days, dapat mabuo na ni procuring entity yung technical specification niya. Dapat mabuo niya na yon. And once nabuo niya na yon with all the inputs from those participating bidders na eligible, then ipopost na po siya at isa-subject na siya to competitive bidding. Okay? Question sa number 4 na yon. Submission of technical and financial proposals. Ang question, kapag ba pinost, allowed ba mag-participate, meaning open to all? Yan yung mga tanong ng mga private Siyempre, hindi. Kasi kawawa naman yung mga nagbigay ng input. Ayan. That's why the new law po give credits naman to those na talagang nag-effort din na tumulong kay procuring entity na mabuo yung technical specs. That's why it's really time for the private to shine with this mode of procurement. Kasi po, kung sino lang yung mga in-invite na supplier, manufacturer, or contractors or consultant na mag-submit noong technical and eligibility documents na na-declare as eligible din, sila lang yung pwedeng mag-submit ng proposal. Okay? Hindi siya open for all. Open lang siya for those invited. Okay? And then, process na po siya ng competitive bidding. From number 4 to 5, bid opening and bid evaluation of bids. It's either LCRB, the lowest calculated and responsive bid, ang criteria. Pwede ring MEARB, the most economic advantageous and responsive bid. At pwede ring MARB. Okay? At kapag consulting services, yun po si highest rated and responsive bid. And then, the number 6, post-qualification evaluation, okay? Kung sino po yung na-identify during bid evaluation, na lowest calculated bid or most economically advantageous bid, siya lang po yung magpo-proceed sa next stage, sa post-qual. Okay? Not necessarily kung sino po yung lowest during opening of bids ay siya na po yung mapoposqual because meron pa pong bid evaluation stage. Minsan kasi may mga bidders po no na sinasabi na, teka, during opening of bids, ako naman yung lowest. Bakit hindi ako yung unang pinosqual? You have to understand na during bid evaluation, nagre-recompute po ang BAC to check yung correctness of your computation sa financial proposal nyo. Okay? So, i-recompute nila yon kung may na-miss kayo, possible yun either bumaba or tumaas. Kapag tumaas kayo above the ABC, automatic reject po yung bid nyo. Disqualified kayo. Okay? So, kung sino po yung madedeclare na lowest calculated bid or most MIAB, most economically advantageous bid, or for consulting, yung highest rated bid, siya po yung magpo-proceed to postqual. At during the postqual, that's the time the technical working group and the BAC shall verify, validate, and ascertain all your documents submitted. Magtatawag yan sa iba't ibang government agency, okay po ba ang performance ni ABC company? Yan. Okay? Ginagawa po yan ng mga government agency. Okay? Kasi pag hindi po nila ginawa yan, tapos meron pala kayong unsatisfactory performance sa iba, tapos may nagbulong kay COA, ay patay po si government agency. Okay? Pwede po yan ma-sanction. And then once po na compliant naman kayo, then that's the time that you will be awarded of the contract. Okay? Yun po yung number 7. Next slide. Ito po yung process for competitive dialogue. Next slide. Okay? Dito tayo kay unsolicited offer with bid matching. This is another, again, mode of procurement that is competitive in nature under the NGPA. Ito pong unsolicited offer with bid matching applicable for goods and consulting, as I have said kanina, wherein this is the mode wherein the PE, procuring entity, allows offer from the private. And provided na merong siyang i-issue na invitation for comparative bid or competitive bids. Kapareho po nito yung tinatawag na PPP, yung BOT law, na mas kilala sa BOT law, yung process of the public-private partnership. So, unsol po kasi yung tawag doon. Solicited offer and unsolicited offer. Ang ginaya lang po ni NGPA, talagang ginaya po ito from that law, is the unsolicited offer. Okay? And this is also your time to flex, the private, time to flex and to really introduce yung mga technology na meron kayo, i-introduce nyo sa government para ma-improve yung services po namin sa gobyerno, para sa inyo, para sa lahat ng Filipino citizens. So tingnan po natin kung paano po siya, yung process niya. Okay? Pasadahan natin. So ganito po yung process for the unsolicited offer with bid matching, similar with the process of the PPP. So ang mode of procurement po na ito, the initial phase will emanate from the private. Okay? Hindi po yan from the government. Kasi kapag from the government po yan, hindi na po siya unsolicited offer. Okay? Take note of that po. So, ibig sabihin, kunwari po, meron kayong new technology na i-introduce sa government. Kasi ang requirement po under the NGPA for this mode, dapat new concept at new technology. As to the definition of new concept and new technology, it is not defined under the law. Maybe because ayaw kahunin ng batas kung ano yung definition of the new concept or new technology. Possible kasi dito sa Manila, hindi na siya new concept or new technology. But in other far-flung places ng Pilipinas, can it be a new technology or new concept pa rin sa kanila. So, wala pong definition under the law kung ano ang new concept or new technology. Okay? So, gaya ng sinabi ko, this will emanate from the private sector, galing po sa inyo. Sa tingin nyo, makakatulong sa pag-improve ng services ng government, and it's a new concept. It's a new technology for the government agency na ina-offera nyo, Then you can submit a proposal. Yan po yung initial offer. And then, once nakapag-submit po kayo ng initial offer, no, magkakandak po in 20 days ng pre-assessment na kung saan i-identify, evaluate, kailangan ng government, kailangan ba natin itong project na ito. Okay? If yes, then mag-i-issue sila ng notice to complete documents. Nasa IRR din kung ano-ano yung mga documents na isasubmit. Okay? Ngayon, kapag hindi, based on assessment, hindi kailangan, reject na. Hindi natutuloy. Okay? Also, balikan ko sa number 1. Okay? If in case, syempre, nag-offer kayo, no, ng project, nag-introduce kayo ng new concept, new technology, may sumunod din. Nag-offer din within that period. May nag-offer din ng new concept similar to your original offer. Paano na yun? Ano nang gagawin ng gobyerno doon? Okay? Under the law, no, nire-recognize niya yung first in. Kung sino yung unang nag-submit, siya yung madedeclare as original offeror. Okay? The rest na nag-submit na kapareho, reject na. Okay? So, nire-recognize ng batas kung sino yung una nag-submit. And once sa 2, no, once po na meron ng na-assess na and na-require na mag-submit, no, may notice na, then you will be required to submit all documents required under the IRR within 30 calendar days. Okay? And then, as you can see, sa 4th step, dahil nga, kumbaga nag-emanate sa inyo yung proposal for a project, baka possibly walang budget. Di po ba? Kaya yung fourth step dyan is determination of budget and or evaluation. Kasi nga, syempre, bigla kayong sumulpot, nag-introduce kayo, baka wala, mostly, for sure, walang budget kasi most of the fund of the government po ay talagang allocated per project. Pag gumamit po kami ng fund na hindi para doon sa project na yon, mate-technical malversation of funds po kami. Hindi allowed yon. Okay? So ngayon, sa determination of budget, paano na yun? Wala pala kayong budget, tapos inaccept nyo yung project namin. Yan. Kung sa tingin naman po ng government, no, based on assessment sa step 2, kung talagang kailangan, pagdating sa step 4, kung wala po talaga silang budget na pwede nang gamitin, no, then they can request for a budget the following year. Okay? So, lagi kong sinasabi pag may kausap akong private regarding dito, kung mag-o-offer kayo sa government, make sure 2 years ahead of the target. Kasi po, ang call for budget call for, let's say, budget ng government next year, 2026, ang budget call ay nung January pa. So, ibig sabihin nung January, nagsasubmit na kami naggagawa na kami ng proposal. The latest that you can submit unsolved proposal, yung kung kailan nag-budget call. Para at least, kung ma-identify, kasi 20 calendar days lang naman i-assess. Para at least if na-assess na kailangan, then makakahabol pa siya sa pag-submit ng project, budget proposal. Okay? So, doon nyo po siya sabayan. But what if, Ms. Deep, meron naman kaming budget? Yan, si government. Sabihin niya may budget. Meron po kasi yung mga, kunwari, may sobra sila, may savings sila. Subject, of course, to DBM rules on budgeting. Pwede na nilang magamit. Kung kasya naman, pwede nang magamit. Okay? So it's either kung wala, i-request. Kung meron, pwede na. Pero what if kung next year pa available yung budget? Ang tanong is, are we going to proceed with step 5? Yes, tuloy-tuloy po siya. Okay? Kahit walang budget, kahit for request for budget pa rin siya, tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya. Okay? So, magkakaroon po ng negotiation with the original offeror. And then, after the negotiation, kung successful po ang negotiation, and then proceed po tayo. Pero pag unsuccessful yung negotiation, reject na yung proposal. Once po na successful yung negotiation, as you can see, proceed siya sa step 6, sa comparative bid. This is the time wherein i-open ni procuring entity yung project for comparative bid. I-open niya sa public. Sino yung gustong mag-match? Ayan. Sino yung may gustong mag-submit nito, ng project na to? I-open niya yan. But of course, si original offeror, standby lang siya. Okay? Kasi okay na eh. Kanya na yun eh. Okay? So, once na, the process of that is competitive bidding na. Okay? So, kaya competitive in nature siya. Kasi once nag-invite na ng comparative bid, no? Then, competitive bidding na yung process. Hanggang sa ma-identify kung sino yung lowest comparative and competitive bid. Okay? Pag na-identify yung lowest comparative and competitive bid through the public bidding process, no? Ang mangyayari is that, tatanungin ngayon, babalikan ngayon ni procuring entity, si original offeror. Sasabihin niya, original offeror, let's say ang proposal ni original offeror is 100 million. Doon sa comparative bid, may nag-bid, syempre. Ang offer niya lang is 90 million. Yan. Kanino ngayon maa-award? Okay? So, meron pa ring advantage kay comparative bid kasi project niya yun eh. Okay? So, ang gagawin ngayon ni government agency, original offeror, ang binigay ni ganito comparative bid ay 90 million. Kaya mo bang tapatan? Ito yung tinatawag na Swiss challenge. Okay? Matching, bid match. Kapag sinabi ni original offeror na yes, kaya kong tapatan yan, then sa kanya ma-award. Kapag sinabi ni original offeror na hindi ko na kaya yan, sobrang baba, then si comparative bid will get the award. Okay? So, ganun po siya. Okay? So, kaya pag nag-submit kayo ng proposal, make sure na wag naman sobrang mahal. Kasi baka mamaya may magbigay ng comparative bid na sobrang baba at hindi nyo na kaya, ay patay kayo, mapupunta kay comparative bid. Ang tanong, Miss Dip, paano po kapag walang nag-submit ng comparative bid? Proceed or not proceed? Proceed. Proceed. Pag kahit walang nag-submit ng comparative bid sa step 6, meaning walang nag-bid match, ang mangyayari, automatic award na kay original offeror. Okay? So, ganun po yung process for the unsolicited offer with bid matching. You can really take advantage of this mode ngayon under the NGPA. It's because of the proposal will really emanate from your end sa private entities. Okay? It's your time to shine. Next slide. So, meron ding direct acquisition na mode of procurement under the new law, no? Itong direct acquisition na to is applicable only for goods. Not procured under the PSDBM. Si PSDBM, yung procurement service of the Department of Budget and Management, no? Ang mandate niya is magbenta ng mga common use supplies sa mga government agencies lang. Hindi sa private, sa government agencies lang. When we say common use supplies, ito po yung mga materials and supplies ng government agency na ginagamit sa day-to-day function. Like bond paper, tissue, ball pen, ano pa ba? Mga paper clips, yan. Basta mga common use folders, yan. Mga ganyan. Printers, considered na rin siya. So, yun po yung mga, ngayon, yung motor vehicle is already considered as common use supplies na rin. Kaya nasa e-marketplace siya. So, kapag yung mga government ngayon nagpo-procure ng vehicle, doon na, add to cart. Add to cart kung tawagin. So, ito, no, ang threshold para magamit ito ng government agency is dapat 200,000 lang. Pababa. Above that, hindi pwede. Saan pwedeng bumili? Sa known and reputable source. Siyempre, sa technically, legally, and financially capable pa rin. And dapat bumili sa mga tindahan, tindahan talaga, no? Sa mga business entities na merong invoices, okay? Compliant with the rules of BIR. Kasi nga, isa sa rule is dapat financially compliant siya, so dapat nagbabayad ng tax. Di po ba? Ayan. So, dapat nag-i-issue ng invoices. Compliant with BIR. Next slide. So, the end user or implementing unit, no, may be authorized by the HOPE to directly purchase based on the following. Una, suppliers are PhilJeps registered. So dapat meron silang PhilJeps registration certificate or registered lang. Goods are available in electronic commerce platforms like Lazada, yan, Shopee, Grab, o yan. Or pick up at such date identified by the procuring entity. Goods are readily available off the shelf and can be picked up or delivered immediately. Okay? So question, since ang requirement is dapat PhilJeps registered, for items 2 and 3, kailangan ba PhilJeps registered din? Based sa ano nyo lang? Kasi no, tama si sir, no. Kasi because the requirement is in any of the following. So pwedeng PhilJeps registered, pwede akong bumili doon. Pwede akong bumili sa mga nasa Shopee or sabi kasi electronic commerce platforms kahit hindi PhilJeps registered. Pwede rin sa mga outlets or stores na may readily available off the shelf kahit hindi siya PhilJeps. Okay? That is direct acquisition. And as a general rule sa direct acquisition, no, walang canvas. Kaya tuwang-tuwa yung mga government dito Yes, walang canvas. Sabi nila. Okay? So, kahit walang canvas, pwedeng gamitin. But, dun sa mga government po na nasa online at na nandito, no, we have to take note lang na kapag ang ginamit na pambayad ay petty cash, no, nakalagay doon subject to the circular COA Circular 2012-01 at kapag cross-reference natin yung COA Circular na yon, dapat may canvas. Okay? Kapag petty cash lang. But other modes of payment, kahit walang canvas. Okay? Next slide. Sa direct sales naman, this is another new mode, no, under the NGPA. Ito maganda to kasi ito yung pakopya. Pakopya under the NGPA. How does it work? Ito yung kapag government agency, kunwari meron kayong mga government accounts, no? But this is for goods lang. Kung meron dito mga nag-offer ng goods sa government, this is applicable, pwede nyo sabihin sa mga government clients nyo na, uy, nag-deliver ako kay Department of Education ng ganitong item. Ang requirement is within 6 months. Pwede mo na siyang hingan ng document para makadiretso kang bili sa akin. Di ba? That's direct sales. Pwede siya. So, paano? Una, dapat previously successful bidding siya. So, dapat bidding, from bidding mode of procurement. Pangalawa, dapat naman ay satisfactory performance based on inspection and acceptance ng government agency na pinag-deliveran mo. And dapat, initiated siya once, within 6 months from the issuance ng acceptance nung bumili na agency sa'yo. And then dapat within or lower the amount na in-offer mo. Hindi pwedeng mas mataas. Or supplier remains legally, again, technical and financially capable. So, if all conditions are met, then pwedeng si government agency magpakopya. Pakopya ang tawag Pakopya sa ibang government agency na pwedeng manghingi. Tingnan natin yung steps. Next slide. So, ganito po yung steps niya, no? So, kunwari si DOTR, gamitin natin si DOTR, manghihingi siya ngayon, kunwari bumili si DICT ng mga ICT equipment. Okay? So, si DOTR, sabi niya kay DICT, uy, pahingi naman ako ng kopya ng lahat ng procurement documents mo. Kasi nakita ko, meron kang procurement last, let's say, February. Wala pang 6 months, no? February, meron kang procurement na ICT na ganito, pareho tayo. Pahingi naman ako ng document. And then, pwede yun ibigay ni DICT kay DOTR para makapag-prepare na sila ng purchase request. Wala nang tedious preparation of any documents kasi ang gagamitin na reference is yung hiningi niya from DICT, from other agency. Kaya pakopya siya And then, after makapag-prepare ni procuring entity, ni government agency ng purchase request, then pwede niya nang bilhin directly. Kaya, direct sales request shall be issued and then award na. Di ba? Ang bilis, no? Mas mabilis na ngayon. So, wala nang slow process. Mas mabilis na ngayon under the direct sales. Basta compliant with the conditions for this mode of procurement. So, pwede nyo yung sabihin sa mga clients nyo. Okay? Next slide. For the direct procurement for science, technology, and innovation, this is actually a mode of procurement for the science and technology community sa government, but this is still subject for the issuance of guidelines. So, hindi muna natin siya pag-uusapan. But something that we can look forward to if in case your company is engaged into, let's say, ICT, ito po yan. Pwede po yan. So, let's proceed. Next slide. Let's proceed with the competitive bidding process, okay? Under the old law, no, ito yung kilalang-kilala natin, di po ba? Si competitive bidding. Pagka RA 9184, no, lagi kong before, no, since last year, nung wala pang ARR, pag nagkakandak ako ng training on the overview of the NGPA, meron akong icebreaker lagi. Ang lagi kong tanong bago ako magsimula is, ano ang maaalala nyo? Lagi akong hello, love, hello, RA 9184 again. Okay? So, ang lagi kong tanong is that, ano ang maaalala nyo or naaalala nyo kapag sinabing RA 9184? Except, of course, the word procurement. Kasi, siya yun eh. Madalas na sagot nila, public bidding. Okay? Kasi nga naman, under the RA 9184, yan po ang default mode, competitive bidding. Okay? Default mode yan. At pwede lang mag-resort to alternative mode kapag highly exceptional cases, kapag for economy and efficiency, no? And for justifiable reason, doon lamang pwedeng mag-resort to other modes. But by default, competitive mode. Kay RA 9184 po yun. Yan. Sa RA 12009, hindi na po siya default mode. Meaning, hindi na po, as general rule, hindi na siya competitive bidding. Kaya kung makikita nyo yung topic, it's modes of procurement because pare-pareho na silang modes of procurement. Wala nang one greater the other. Kasi before, sa RA 9184, ang ultimate mode talaga is public bidding. Under Section 10 of RA 9184, nakalagay doon that all procurement shall be through competitive bidding except doon na po papasok si alternative methods. Okay? So dito sa NGPA, no, pwede nyo nang sabihin sa mga client nyo, pag sinabi nila sa inyo na hindi kailangan pa namin mag-competitive bidding, turuan nyo na sila. Sabihin nyo, ma'am, may ganitong mode. Baka pwede mo nang explore. Baka hindi pa nakapag-training sa NGPA yon. Okay? So, ito po yung competitive bidding process. Similar pa rin siya with RA 9184. Wala naman ding nabago. Okay? So, meron pa rin pre-procurement conference. During pre-procurement conference, dyan po dinidiscuss ng Bids and Awards Committee with the end user, technical working group, kung ano yung mga requirements ng project. Okay? Fina-finalize yung bidding docs, anong award criteria nang gagamitin, yan. Diyan po dinidiscuss yan. Kapag na-finalize na yung bidding documents and requirements, then, i-issue na nila yung invitation to bid for publication na siya. Okay? Before, noong 2003, required ang government agency mag-publish sa newspaper. Pero along the way, dahil nga syempre nag-evolve, no? Naging na lang siya, posting sa PhilJeps, sa website, and then sa conspicuous place, or mostly bulletin board ng mga government agency. And then, after na ma-publish, 7 days after, magkakandak po si government agency ng pre-bid conference. During the pre-bid conference, under the law, isa po sa enhancement ng bagong batas is that in-emphasize niya na dapat si Bids and Awards Committee should conduct pre-bid conference proactively. Meaning, dapat i-orient kayo as bidders ano yung requirement, paano mag-fill out ng form. Okay? This is to address po yung mga reasons for failure of bidding na nakalimutan lang ilagay itong document na ito. O di kaya na mali lang ng pag-fill out. Okay? Kasi marami pong nadi-disqualify dahil nakaligtaan. It's because hindi na-explain sa kanila ng maigi yung requirement. And sayang. Because our purpose sa government, kapag ang audience ko po ay government, lagi kong tinatanong, ano ba ang purpose natin pag nag-procure tayo? Mag-procure tayo o mag-disqualify? Kasi parang paramihan ng disqualified bidders ang nangyayari minsan eh. Okay? So, our purpose in the government is to procure goods and services for the public. Okay? To deliver the services to the public. So, during pre-bid conference, kung hindi po yung threshold ng ABC is not mandatory for pre-bid, kayo po as bidders, you can still request for the conduct of pre-bid conference. Gawin nyo po in written, okay? And then, after the pre-bid conference, 12 calendar days after po, then scheduled for the submission and opening of bids, okay? And then, after the bid opening, same pa rin, the bid evaluation, kung sino, again, lahat po ng mga bidders will be subject for bid evaluation. May mga bidders kasi na akala nila kung sino lang yung lowest during opening, siya lang yung i-bid eval. No po, lahat po yun. Let's say, 6 kayo nag-submit ng bid, meaning 6 po kayong isa-subject to bid eval. Okay? Kung sino po yung madedeclare na lowest calculated bid or most economic advantageous bid or the highest rated bid, siya po yung magpo-proceed to post-qual. And kung nag-successful po yung post-qual, meaning pumasa, lahat na verify that you are compliant, then you will get the award. So that's the whole process of competitive bidding. Okay? So, next slide. These are the content of the bidding document. So, meron kayong makikita sa invitation to bid na approved budget for the contract, no? Kapag goods and infra, invitation to bid ang tawag. Kapag consulting services, it's REOI or request for expression of interest. And then, meron pong another part of the bidding documents is the instruction to bidders. Doon nyo po makikita kung ano yung mga kailangan nyong gawin, isubmit, fill upan, isign. So, make sure po na yung taga-prepare. Sa private kasi may, taga-prepare sila ng bid docs. Iba yung representative na uma-attend, iba yung nagpe-prepare ng bid docs, pero meron din yung sila din yung nag-prepare, sila din yung uma-attend. Ang mahirap doon, kapag yung mga uma-attend ng pre-bid, hindi kinommunicate doon sa nagpe-prepare ng bid, which is minsan, nagkakamali, kaya pagdating ng opening of bids, failed. Okay? Nung nasa private po ako, kasi I worked din sa private, no, 2005 to 2010. I worked with a private company and ang client ko po, ang account ko po noon ay mostly government. So ako po yung nagpa-participate sa bidding. Ako rin yung nagpe-prepare ng bid docs proposal. Kapag na-disqualify, ako din nagpe-prepare ng request for reconsideration. Lahat. Okay? Mas maganda yung ganun. Mahirap kasi pag iba-iba. So, pag hindi na-communicate kung ano yung requirement, may higher chance na ma-disqualify during opening. Okay? Meron ding technical specifications for goods, terms of reference or scope of work kapag consulting services. Kapag meron ding eligibility requirements kung ano-ano yung mga kailangan yung isubmit, so make sure you comply with that. And environmental specification in relation to Section 73, ito po yung mga sustainable requirements. Next slide. Plans or drawings kapag infrastructure project, but yung mga government agency, no, kapag services like mga network services, yung installation of network infrastructure services, yan, nag-attach din sila ng mga plans or drawings to guide the bidders. Bid form, price schedule, and list of goods or bill of quantities. Si bid form, ito po yung kung saan sinusulat ni bidder yung financial offer niya, in words and in figures. Si price schedule, ito po yung breakdown. Okay? Magkano yung transportation, unit cost, transportation cost, VAT, yan. At saka yung mga iba pang miscellaneous expenses na kailangan mong i-add to come up with the overall total financial proposal. Okay? Si bill of quantities kapag infra project or civil works yan. Okay? Yun po yung ipoprovide ng procuring entity or government agency for the bidders. Delivery time or completion schedule, okay, ng project, kung hanggaano yung katagal yung project implementation. Form and amount of performance, security, and warranty, just as we discussed kanina. Make sure you check kung ano lang yung allowed. Okay? So sana walang ma-disqualify na nag-submit ng wala sa list. Okay? Form of contract. Yung form of contract, meaning ano-ano yung mga documents, no? Na kailangan attachment sa contract. Form of contract, kung framework agreement, yan. Okay? You have to comply with the requirements. General and special conditions of contract, kung merong mga additional requirement during contract implementation, dyan nyo po siya babasahin. Okay? Additional documentary requirements or specification necessary to complete the information required for the bidders to prepare and submit their bids. So make sure that when you participate a government procurement activity, make sure to read po yung bidding documents na i-issue. Okay? Next slide. So in all stages of procurement, no, ang meron lang dapat access, stages of preparation, sorry. In all stages of the preparation of the bidding documents, ang meron lang dapat access ay yung 5 yan. Wala po dyan bidder. Kung may leak, no, malamang isa lang dyan ang nag-leak. Okay? So dapat si back chairperson, back members, back secretariat, TWG, and end user representative. So sila lang po dapat yung may access to information para wala namang leak, paglilik ng mga requirements. Kasi minsan, kapag kilala si magkakaroon, okay lang na sabihin na meron kaming project na ganito. Kasi nakapublish naman po yan doon sa mga website through the posting of the annual procurement plan. Pero kung sasabihin mo na, ito, o bigyan na kita ng copy ng TOR, mag-ready ka na. Yung ganon. Yun po yung access na information. Bawal yon. Okay? So kung meron po kayong kilala during, if in case sumali kayo sa bidding at natunugan nyo, may nag-leak doon sa kalaban nyo, itanong nyo na po kay back. Okay? Make it in writing. Okay? Sige, next slide. So for competitive bidding, no, kanina sa pre-procurement conference, ito yung mandatory. Kapag ang approved budget for the contract is above 5 million pesos for goods, infrastructure projects above 10 million, and consulting services above 2 million, then magkakandak ng pre-procurement conference. Pero pwede pa rin naman if below this threshold. Depende po kay government agency. Dito, hindi po involved ang bidders dito. Okay? Hindi pa dyan papasok ang bidders. Next slide. Again, as we mentioned kanina, yung award criteria are this na po. No? Sa first module kanina, we have discussed yung MEARP and the MARB. So for 1, 2, and 3, those are the award criterion for goods and infra. For consulting services, si highest rated and responsive bid, number 4. Okay? Next slide. When it comes to publication, no, lahat ng invitation to bid, as I said, posting niya is 7 calendar days to be posted. Continuous po yun. To be posted kay PhilJeps, which si PhilJeps po is yun po yung central repository of all procurement information. Required po ang lahat ng government agency to post dito sa PhilJeps. Okay? PhilJeps website and conspicuous place. To add for provision for transparency, no, nire-require din na mag-post yung mga government agency sa social media. So kung makikita nyo sa Facebook account ng mga government agency, may nakapost na procurement, invitation to bid for ganitong project. So, yon. That's added transparency measure. Next slide is the pre-bid conference. So at least one pre-bid conference. But in case may complexity yung project, then pwedeng mag-another pre-bid conference. If not mandatory, but you think, no, as bidders, you think that you need to have a pre-bid conference to discuss and clarify matters regarding the project, then you can request through written, okay? Through written request to the back. Next slide. So, I mentioned kanina, no, yung proactive role. This is for the government, no? Na dapat proactive role tayo sa pagkandak ng pre-bid conference. We have to really educate our bidders on how are they going to prepare their bids, what are our requirements, what are the documentary requirements that they have to submit, kung kailangan ba, kung merong yung computation, then teach them then sa pag-compute. Okay? nakalagay po yon sa IRR kung ano-ano yung mga proactive role that we can do to guide our bidders po. Kasi ang goal natin is not to disqualify, but again, to of course procure. Okay? Next slide. So eligibility requirements, these are the eligibility requirements. Kapag competitive bidding in nature, ang requirement ay PhilJEP Certificate of Registration in Platinum Membership. With Annex A po yan, kasi marami pong mga bidders na hindi nasasubmit yung Annex A. Yung Annex A po kasi niyan, nandun po yung details ng kung DTI or SEC registration nyo, nandun din yung details ng mayor's permit nyo, nandun din yung details of your tax clearance, of your AFS or the Audited Financial Certificate. Okay? So, kailangan meron po yung Annex A niyan. Another eligibility requirement is the statement of all ongoing government and private contracts. So you have to submit that as well. SLCC or the single largest completed contract for ano po yan, for goods and infrastructure. And the NFCC po is the net financial contracting capacity. It's a financial document po yan for us to check if you still have financial capability to undertake the project. Okay? Kapag goods, pwede po yung CLC, kung tawagin, Credit Line Certificate, and NFCC. But for infra, only NFCC. Okay? So, statement for consulting services po, isa sa eligibility requirement is yung statement is specifying nationality and confirmation that the consultant is an authorized registered professional. Okay? So, for consulting services lang po yan. Next slide. And as a reminder po sa inyong mga bidders, no, that failure on your part to update your PhilJEP Certificate of Registration will automatically, will result to automatic suspension. Okay? So kung meron kayong sinalihang bidding, tapos hindi nyo na-update yung inyong, meaning pag sinabing na-update, yung Annex A nyo ng certificate nyo na PhilJEPs, meron doon expired, yan, disqualified kayo. Kasi automatic suspension po, suspended po ang inyong certificate. Next slide. So with this po, yung competitive bidding may be allowed to submit its eligibility requirements electronically. Meron po sa procurement by electronic means, yung electronic bidding, magkakaroon po kasi ng e-bidding facility. Nakapag-pilot na rin po si PhilJEPs dito and kami po yung isa sa pilot agency, but I think it will be hindi pa siya mandatory. It's because kailangan pa pong i-capacitate ni PhilJEPs lahat ng private entities para dun sa system na gagamitin. Next slide. Another eligibility requirements, if in case na kayo po ay magpa-participate ng bidding ng MICA joint venture, then again, I would like to reiterate what I said kanina noon, na dapat ay each member shall be jointly and severally liable and must be, yung kanilang primary purpose must be similar to the project being bidded. Okay? And kailangan po niyang isubmit. Kapag po, kapag goods, no, pwede yung agreement to enter into a JV once awarded. Kapag po, infrastructure project, dapat meron ng JV kasi kailangan po yung PICAB license ng government. Kapag joint venture kasi, merong special PICAB for joint venture. So, kailangan meron ng submission. Okay, for shortlisting of consulting services, no, so merong numeric, next slide, ayan. Merong numerical rating for consulting services para kayo ay ma-shortlist. Hindi agad-agad, okay? Pag pumasa kayo sa shortlisting, sa required points, then you are considered shortlisted. But if it's not, hindi kayo ma-shortlist. Hindi kayo pwedeng mag-proceed sa second stage. Okay? Next slide. And as part of the competitive bidding procedures, no, meron siyang two envelope system pa rin. Same. Technical and financial, magkahiwalay. Okay? So, wala pong pinagbago. Next slide. Okay, the deadline for the receipt of bids shall be fixed by the BAC, providing a sufficient time to complete, no, the bidding process, but bids that have been submitted after the deadline, automatic syempre, or kapag late, reject, sorry na lang. Okay? So, kahit 1 minute pa yan na late, hindi tapo talaga. Dapat on or before, impunto, the deadline, dapat masubmit. Next slide. When it comes to modification and withdrawal of bids, yung modification of bids, allowed po yan prior to the deadline. Okay? But when you, kunwari, may sa tingin nyo, no, may nakalimutan kayo or what, no, nasubmit nyo na. So, pwede kayong mag-submit. Hindi nyo pwedeng i-retrieve po yung sinubmit nyo. Ang pwede nyo gawin is, mag-submit kayo ng bago, no, tapos i-note, maglagay kayo doon ng title niya na modification of bid or modified bid. Okay? But you will not be allowed to retrieve yung una nyo pong sinubmit. Okay? Withdrawal of bids, that is also allowed. Next slide. So withdrawal of bids is also allowed before the deadline of bids. Okay? It cannot be allowed after the deadline of bids. But when you withdraw your bids before the deadline, hindi na po kayo allowed to submit another bid. Okay? So, yan po yung pinagkaiba ng modification and withdrawal of bids. Pag withdrawal of bids, after the deadline, pwede na po kayong masanction. Kasi it can be a ground for blacklisting po. Yung withdrawal of bids after the opening of bids. Okay? Next slide. For the bid security, yung na-mention ko kanina, make sure you submit based doon sa option na pre-provide ni government agency. Kung wala doon, wag po kayong mag-submit. Okay? But usually, as mandatory requirement po ito, so make sure hindi nyo po ito mamimiss. Ang mandatory bid security doon sa option na tatlo na ipoprovide sa inyo is the bid securing declaration. Default mode po yun, na dapat meron siya sa tatlong option. And then other two pa. Bid securing declaration and other option pa. So, ganun po yun. Okay? Para hindi less chance na ma-disqualify kayo, bid securing declaration na lang kayo lagi. Kasi default po yun na form of bid security. Next slide. Ayan. So aside from bid security, you may, medyo bumaba yung H, no? You may, hindi pala kayo, si procuring entity, si government agency, can select other two from this. Pwedeng cash, gaya ng sinabi ko, default bid securing declaration, pwedeng cash, tas bank draft, pwedeng bid securing declaration, pwedeng bank draft, pwedeng surety bond, ganon. Okay? So, hindi na siya in any. So, ano po kayo dito, make sure na mabasa nyo yung bid docs kung ano yung nire-require. Option na pre-provide ni government agency. Next slide. For the bid validity, it's 120 days. Okay? From the opening of bids. Next slide. For the bid opening, no, it shall be conducted at not later than 1 calendar day after the deadline for the submission of bids. So, 1 calendar day siya. Isang araw lang yan gagawin. May experience kami dati sa DOTR, sa sobrang dami. Naabutan kami ng hating gabi. Nandun pa kami sa Columbia bago mag-Clark. Parang may December nagmamadali kaming yung iba Christmas party na kami nag-o-open ng bids doon sa 16th floor. Okay, sige. So for preliminary examination of, next slide, kapag sinabi pong preliminary examination of bids, ito po yung opening of bids. At ang bid evaluation process po is that pass-fail, non-discretionary pass-fail criteria po siya. Kapag present, pass. Kapag absent, failed. Ganon. But usually, may mga nagtatanong, paano po kung present pero hindi naman po expired yung certificate? Present pa rin po ba yun? Oh, yun yung mga tanong. Siyempre, hindi na. Kasi ang requirement, valid. Diba? Is an expired license a valid license? Yes or no? No, diba? So, on its face, expired, edi absent. Kasi ang requirement namin, valid. Okay? Next slide. So, ceiling for bid prices is the approved budget for the contract. Yun po yung pinaka limit, ceiling limit, ABC kung tawagin. And above that, disqualified. Okay, next slide. We also, so yun po yung end ng competitive bidding. We have also the other competitive mode that is competitive in nature is the limited source bidding. Pero usually ginagamit po ito sa mga government agency na kukonti lang yung bidders or minsan walang bidders. Kumbaga konti lang yung market. Like si Bangko Sentral for yung sa banknotes, yung mga pera natin. Yan, sila madalas gumagamit nito. Sa RA 9184, ginagamit ang limited source for goods and consulting lang. Pero in-expand siya. Kung makikita nyo kanina, ma-recall nyo, kanina sa previous module, nakalagay expanded version, si limited source. Kasi allowed na rin siya for infrastructure project, pero highly, special equipment siya. So usually, ang gumagamit si AFP. Okay? Next slide. Ayan siya. For highly specialized or complex goods, for major plant complex components, and for highly specialized infrastructure projects. Next slide. So, limited source bidding, gaya ng na-mention ko, isa siya sa competitive bidding in nature, no? Pero siya po, yung posting niya, ang pinagkaiba lang, yung posting niya, instead of 7 calendar days, siya 3 calendar days lang ang posting ng invitation to bid. The rest ng process, same na. Next slide. Meron ding mode on direct contracting. Ito yung direct contracting is, next slide sir, ginagamit ito ng government agency kapag goods are proprietary in nature, meaning walang ibang makakapag-deliver, critical components from specific manufacturer, supplier, or distributor, or sold by an exclusive dealer or manufacturer, then pwedeng mag-direct contracting. Next slide. Tingnan natin yung process. Okay? So, prepare request for quotation. Ito po yung process niya. And then, magsisend na po ng RFQ doon sa kung sino man yung supplier. And then, simple nego lang, then award na. Madali lang talaga to. Direct contracting. Next slide. Meron din pong repeat order. Kapag kailangan pa, nakapag-deliver na, at sa tingin ng government agency ay kailangan pa, within 6 months, then they can execute repeat order mode of procurement. Basta, equal price or lower at hindi tataas sa 25% yung quantity. Okay, next slide. So this is also the process for the repeat order. Mabilis lang din, 4 lang, no? Dapat may determination na kailangan mag-replenish. Confirm yung unit price equal or lower, then prepare purchase request, then award na. Bilis, bilis lang siya. For small value procurement, ito po yung isang mode of procurement na may pagbabago from old to new, no? Kasi sa old, negotiated procurement siya. Sa new, mode of procurement na siya. At tumaas ang threshold. From 1 million, naging 2 million pesos na siya. So, next slide. Yan. Mukha lang mahaba yung process niya, pero madali lang yan. Kasi magsisend out, aside from posting, magsisend lang ng request for quotation doon sa mga prospective suppliers. And then, pag may nag-submit, kahit isa, i-evaluate lang, and then award na. Ganun lang siya. Okay? Kapag walang nag-submit, hanggat walang nagsasubmit, tuloy-tuloy lang, extend lang yung submission of bids or proposal. Yeah. Okay. Sige. Okay. For then the last mode of procurement is si negotiated procurement na. Medyo bibilisan ko lang siya. Kasi ito medyo hindi to applicable sa private sa government to, but baka lang nyo siya. So, merong 2 failed biddings. Yan. Kapag nag-fail ng bidding, then kapag meron ng 2 failed, pwede nang mag-resort to negotiated procurement. Yan po yun. Next slide. Emergency case. Next slide. Kapag emergency cases, in case of imminent danger to life, property, or during state of calamity, pwede. If time is of the essence and restoration of public infrastructure, mga services or restore vital public services, then pwede. Emergency case. Takeover of contracts, no? Kung na-terminate, na-rescind yung contract, then pwedeng mag-takeover of contracts yung susunod doon sa nung nag-bid, susunod na bidder. Next slide. Pwede ring adjacent or contiguous, no? Kapag related dun sa project nyo at sa tingin ay kailangan din yon, then pwedeng negotiated procurement. Kunwari kayo nakakuha ng project and meron pang additional work related to that original contract, pwedeng negotiated procurement using this mode. Yun po siya. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, sir. For agency to agency, this is for government to government. So I think not applicable po sa inyo to. For, next slide. Yan. So meron din yung scientific scholarly, no? Kapag work of art, commissioned work or services yung po-procure, then they can resort to this. The restorative works, yung pangalawa, that's a new applicability of this mode. And scientific, academic, scholarly work, usually sa mga yung kailangan nila i-publish yung mga works nila. So ito po yun. Next slide. For highly specialized life equipment ng DOH, ito. For scientific, technical, economic, business, trade, applicable din siya. And for media, documentation, advertisement, and announcement, pwede din siya. Next slide. Highly technical consultants, baka lang po kayo. Okay? Pwede kasi kaming mag-engage sa government ng mga highly technical consultants, no? Pwede. Ipo-procure lang kayo through this mode. Madali lang siya eh. Itong mode na to. Okay? So, ang highly technical, next slide, ang highly technical consultant, individual consultant siya. Okay? And trust and confidence as primary consideration. And, of course, yung term nyo should not exceed the term of kung sino yung nag-engage sa inyo, si head of the procuring entity. Next slide. The defense cooperation, hindi po ito applicable. Applicable lamang po ito kay DND at sa ating mga law enforcement agencies. Okay? So, hindi po yan applicable sa ibang government agencies at sa inyo din. Next slide. Next slide. Sa list of real property, meron bang mga developer dito? Yan. Kung list of real property, next slide, sir. Yan. By default, no, dapat kami sa government, mag-list kami to government-owned. But in case hindi available, that's the time that we can resort to list of private property. Okay? Under the, the new law, no, allowed na yung may mga advance payment kasi usually pag list of office space, nagre-require ng 50% down, deposit yan. Meron na po, pwede na po siya under the new law. Next slide. Non-government organization participation, ito po yung mga projects na nakalagay sa fund ng government for NGO, matik sa kanila po yan. Okay? Next slide. For community participation, these are for vulnerable sectors, fisher folks. So, allowed din po silang mag-participate ng bid. Okay? For certain projects lang. Next slide. So, meron pong organized and unorganized community or social group, no, na pwedeng sumali. Pag sinabi natin organized, yung may papel. Pag unorganized, yung mga walang legal entity, kumbaga. Next slide. UN, United Nations agencies, international organizations, or financial institutions, financing institutions, kapag bibili po tayo kay UN, like vaccines, yung mga vaccines natin, yan, ito yung mode na yun, pwede. Next slide. So, number 13, next slide. I think ito yung last na negotiated procurement, no, for POL products, direct purchase from suppliers or service providers ng charging devices, at saka yung mga online subscription, yan, pwede po itong gamitin na mode of procurement. Next slide. Next slide. Yan, see procurement, when it comes to, I think, last 2 slides na lang tayo. Procurement of common use supplies and equipment, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, kay PSDBM po kami bibili. Ayan. For the interest of those na government, na nandito, no? Next slide, sir. Dun sa isa. Isa pa, last. Kung kailan last na, naghang pa. Hindi, joke lang. 76, 77. Okay.
Naghang, ma'am?
Naghang. Kung kailan last slide, no? Meron po yung for the interest po ng, yan sir, yan, 77 na lang. Last na yan. Kasi yung 78 wala na. Yung, dyan, for those na nandito po na government agency, no, pwede kayong bumili outside PSDBM kapag una, unavailable 77. Yan. Kita na nila yung thank you. Yes, matatapos na. Yan. Yung slide na yan. Sige sir, kung hindi na siya pwede kayong bumili outside PSDBM kapag unavailable yung stock kay DBM or zero stock. Pwede rin kayong bumili sa labas kapag hindi compliant yung specs ni PSDBM sa kailangan ninyo at kapag may insufficient stock or for the purpose of inefficiency, for the reason of inefficiency, impracticality, or economic non-viability, meaning kulang siya or so yon. Pwede kayong bumili outside, okay? And last, yun na. Si PSDBM shall be authorized to perform the following function, no? Sila yung mag-identify kung ano yung CSE, kung magre-reduce or tatanggalin nila sa list yung mga common use supplies, and sila din yung, they can make use of modes of procurement if in case interested po kayo, no, to be part of the e-marketplace, yung add to cart, no? Then, kung considered yung ino-offer nyong services ay considered as common use supplies, and equipment as identified ni PSDBM, then you may coordinate with them kasi pwedeng through concessionaire agreement. So I think that's the last slide of our second module.
Okay. I think we thank you, Engineer Dip, for that presentation. We don't have enough time, so I think we can only accommodate 2 questions in face-to-face and 1 in online. So I'll read the first question for the online. What meaningful actions can professionals from private institutions take to positively influence government practices and foster accountability?
Okay, I think ang pwedeng makontribute, no, ng private to us is yung, just like I said, you may make use of the new modes of procurement. You can take advantage of that so that you can propose your solutions sa amin to help us improve our services. When it comes to accountability, please do not participate in any illegal activities, no? Wag po natin yun gagawin. Let's be responsible Filipino citizens, okay? If someone from the government will tell you this and this, make sure that you cite na lang, according to the rules, sir, bawal, baka po masanction kami, okay? So I think...
Okay. Any questions from here? We can accommodate 2 questions. No questions? Ayan, there.
Nahihiya lang, sir. Pag nagsimulan yan, sunod-sunod na yan.
For a particular contract package, for example, halimbawa competitive bidding, who prepares, deliberates, and approves the ABC? And who selects the participating contractors and the eventual winning contractor?
Doon muna tayo, sir, sa ABC, no? Ang nagpe-prepare po ng approved budget for the contract is the end user. Sila po yung the end user, sir. End user po ng procuring entity. Ibig sabihin, kung sino po yung pinaka project owner sa government agency, sila po yung nagpe-prepare ng cost estimate na nagiging approved budget for the contract. As to dun sa question kung sino yung pumipili ng winning bidder, ba yun? Ano
yung sa budget, yung prepare, nag-deliberate, and nag-approve. Basically, it's the PE of the...
Ang PE kasi, sir, its procuring entity is, we are referring to government agency.
Okay.
So, ang nagpe-prepare po ng cost estimate, yung end user, kasi siya yung project owner.
Okay.
As to who approves the ABC po, it depends po doon sa internal protocol ng agency. Pwedeng, yung may ibang government agency na umaabot hanggang kay head of agency, pero usually kasi sobrang ano na kung aabot pa sa kanya. So, nagde-delegate siya kung sino yung may authority to approve the ABC. Kung sino yung may authority to select kung sino yung sasali, depende po sa mode. Kung yung pong na-mention ko kanina na competitive dialogue, si procuring entity, if ibibigay niya po yon kay, let's say, si end user ang mag-identify, the back, sila po yung mag-i-invite to na mabuo yung technical specs. Kapag po yan, sir, ay competitive dialogue. But kapag competitive bidding and other modes, no, except the negotiated procurement, no, kapag competitive bidding siya, sir, open to the public. So, wala pong pinipili. Open to the public siya. For unsolicited offer, syempre, kung sino po yung nag-offer, siya lang po yung pwedeng sumali. As to who decides kung sino po yung makakakuha ng award of contract, it's the Bids and Awards Committee. Sila po yung magde-deliberate at based on their assessment, based on their evaluation na comply ni bidder, then they will recommend for award. Recommendatory body, si Bids and Awards Committee. Approving authority, si head of the procuring entity or si HOPE. So, ganun po yung process niya. So, pwede pong ni-recommend ni BAC, pwedeng hindi i-approve ni HOPE. Pwede rin po yun.
Kasama. So, the head of the PE is included in the BAC.
No, sir. Hindi siya kasama.
Recommending body.
Recommending body po si head of the procuring entity, siya po ang magki-create ng Bids and Awards Committee niya. Si Bids and Awards Committee, after evaluation, sila po ang magre-recommend na based on evaluation, ito pong si bidder ay technically, financially, and legally capable, then we recommend to award of the contract to this bidder. And then si HOPE po, si head of the procuring entity, who is not necessarily the head of agency, kasi pwede pong i-delegate ni head of agency yung pagiging HOPE. But by default, gaya po na nasabi ko kanina, by default, ang HOPE po is the head of agency. But once it is delegated, the authorized representative. Ganun po siya. So, pwede pong i-approve, pwede pong i-disapprove ni HOPE ang recommendation ni BAC. Ayan, sir. Na-address ba yung tatlong questions, sir?
So basically, from inception ng budget up to award, it's within the same agency lang, parang ganun.
Within the same agency, but different offices, sir.
Different offices.
Yes.
For example, DPWH lahat ng tao na yun.
Yes, tama, sir. DPWH, pwedeng end-user division, may certain division ang nagpe-prepare, and then iba po ang magpo-procure. That is to ensure po na meron pong check and balance. Hindi lahat same all throughout.
The budget is coming from the end user.
The budget po is the budget of the whole government agency, sir, requested for a specific project. So, hindi po yun, but of course, sir, yung budget na yun is nakaalat yun para sa kanila. Kasi sa government agency po, meron pong iba't ibang division, iba't ibang offices. Kunwari po, kami po sa GPP-BTSO, I'm handling the IT office, the Information Management Division. Meron akong budget proposal last year for this year. So, kung ano po yung binigay sa akin na budget lang, inapprove sa akin, let's say, nag-propose ako ng budget na 20 million, pero totoo po ito, 20 million budget proposal. Alam niyo po magkano lang na-approve? 7 million. 7 million. So, I can only work on that 7 million based on dun sa approved projects na meron kami. Ganun lang, ganun siya, sir. Hindi po, gaya ng na-mention kanina, we cannot make use of other funds from other project kasi meron pong technical malversation of funds. Kapag naka-line item po yan sa GAA, yung na-mention ko kanina na fund ng government, hindi po namin yan, let's say, si DOTR, no, meron siyang, kunwari, ay feasibility study on ano ba yung mga projects nyo na airport. Sa Sangli, tapos na eh. Yung ibang airport project, kunwari, they cannot make use of that fund to construction magiging technical malversation of fund po siya. Actually, sir, wala pong nagko-control ng overall budget kasi naka-allocate po siya for specific project na eh. So, ina-approve po yan kapag nag-submit ka ng budget proposal, ang nag-a-approve po niyan yung Congress. So, pag bumaba po yan sa amin, once in-approve na yan ng Congress, pababa po yan sa amin, then we can only work on what is approved within for the department.
Divided
To different
various-
divisions
Yeah,
and
yes.
offices. Tama,
So,
sir.
I mean, within the department, who manages that?
Si budget division nila, sir. Based
Different from the
back.
back.
Yes, opo. Different from the back, different from other offices. But one of the members of the back po is required, hindi naman required, it's not mandatory. And it is being encouraged na dapat meron. Kasi marami pong mga provisions under the law na laging subject to budgeting rules. So, someone to kailangan po, there should be a member in the back to guide the members when it comes to budgeting rules.
So, yung control na sinasabi ko is properly allocated, parang
Yes.
hindi dapat gamitin to para dito.
Yes, sir. Properly allocated yan per project, per division.
So,
Ganun po siya.
Sino yung nagko-confirm naman na
May budget.
properly valued yung budget versus dun sa
Pag bago
ipoprocure?
ipasa, sir, for budget proposal, dadaan po yan, depende po yan sa internal, kumbaga sa process ng agency. But usually po, meron po kasing planning unit. So, si planning unit po, sila po yung nag-evaluate kung feasible ba itong project na to, tama, yung aligned ba ito sa agenda ng administration, aligned ba ito sa pinaka-ultimate goal ng current administration. And then once po na maano yun, sir, if after the planning, it goes to the head of agency and then submit to DBM for budget proposal na. So dadaan po kay head of agency, syempre, para at least alam naman niya kung ano yung budget proposal.
Thank you.
I apologize that we don't have enough time, so we have to cut the question and answer. Maybe if you have more questions, you can directly contact Engineer Dip. So we proceed with the awarding of certificates. Okay. Please remain on stage, ma'am, for the awarding and photo. Hang on.
Hi, Engineer Steve. I'm here again. So, we would like to award this plaque of appreciation to Engineer Deep Dalin Salazar in recognition and sincere appreciation to her invaluable support extended to the PICQS as a speaker for today's continuous professional development. Thank you, Engineer Deep, and hope you support us in sharing. Yes, I hope so. So, thank you very much. Let's give Engineer Deep a round of applause. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello. Thank you everyone for attending the Global CPD number 11. So that ends our event for today. For the attendance, here is the QR code. Can you share, please? For your attendance. Once again, thank you everyone. We still have food left, so if you guys want to take home for your lunch, you can get from the back over there. So once again, thank you everyone.